The Artemis drifted through the quiet sea of the Orion expanse, her silver hull shining softly in the light of a dying blue star. Captain Elias Rourke stood on the bridge, staring at the endless space ahead. To most people, space was just emptiness, cold, dark, and silent. But to Elias, it was filled with memories. Every star reminded him of Dr. Lyra Vance. Years ago, they had explored the stars together. She had been more than his partner. She was his heart, his reason to look at the stars and smile. But then came the Helios Rift expedition, the mission that took her away. She had vanished when her research ship was pulled into a strange gravitational storm. No trace of her ship or body had ever been found. Everyone told Elias to move on, but he never did. The Artemis continued its routine scans. The crew trusted their captain, but they also knew he carried sadness in his eyes. He hid it behind calm orders and steady leadership, but the loss of Lyra never left him. Commander Tessa Vorn, his first officer, approached quietly. "Captain, we've finished the latest stellar mapping. No anomalies found." Elias nodded. "Thank you, Commander." She hesitated, then asked softly, "It's her anniversary today, isn't it?" Elias didn't answer. He only looked out at the star and whispered, "Yes." That night, when the bridge was quiet, Elias stayed behind. He turned off the main lights and opened the observation window wider. The dying blue star pulsed weakly, throwing streaks of color across the darkness. He whispered to the void, "Lyra, I still see you in every light." He remembered her laughter, her voice full of life as she once told him, "If I ever get lost, Elias, don't search for my body. Look for me in the stars." He had smiled at the time, thinking it was only poetry, but now the words burned in his memory. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped softly, a signal alert. Elias frowned. He walked to the console and saw a strange reading. The long-range array had picked up a faint energy pulse coming from deep within the collapsing star system. It was weak, irregular, but definitely artificial. He called the ship's AI. "Athena, identify that signal." The calm female voice replied, "Unknown pattern. Frequency does not match any known transmission code." Elias studied the rhythm. It wasn't random. It repeated in a strange pattern of long and short bursts, almost like a message. "Record it," he ordered. Tessa re-entered the bridge. "Captain?" "Why are we still here?" "There's a signal," he said, his eyes fixed on the screen. "Something or someone is calling." She moved closer. "Could be interference from the dying star." "No," Elias whispered. "Look at the pattern. It's repeating, exactly 3.7 seconds apart." Tessa frowned. "That's too precise for random energy." Elias increased the magnification on the signal. The pattern scrolled across the screen, glowing blue. His heart started to race. The shape of the wave, it looked familiar. It matched a sequence from Lyra's neural pattern, the one she used in her research to encode thoughts into light signatures. He froze. "It's her," he whispered. Tessa blinked. "Captain, that's impossible." He looked up at her, his eyes filled with determination. "She always said light could carry consciousness. What if she found a way?" "Elias," she started, then stopped herself. She had seen that look before. The same fire that made him one of humanity's greatest explorers. The same fire that refused to give up. Against orders from the Concord fleet, Elias decided to follow the signal. He turned to the helm officer. Set a course toward the source of that transmission. The crew exchanged uncertain glances. Tessa sighed but finally nodded. "Aye, Captain." As the Artemis moved closer, the space around them began to twist. The dying blue star pulsed harder, shedding arcs of plasma like lightning. The ship's hull vibrated, warning alarms flickering across the bridge. "Athena, stabilize shields," Elias shouted. "Shields holding at 70%, the AI replied. Through the observation glass, Elias saw waves of light crossing the void, bright and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the cosmos. They weren't random. They were forming lines, arcs, and curves. The Artemis's computer traced them automatically and projected them on the holo display. The image took shape, a pattern across the stars, glowing faintly in the dark. It spelled one word, Lyra. The bridge fell silent. Every crew member stared at the screen, unable to breathe. Tessa whispered, "That's her name." Elias's throat tightened. His hand trembled as he touched the glowing letters on the projection. "She did it," he said softly. She wrote her name in the stars. The crew didn't know what to say. To them it was impossible, an illusion of light or magnetic interference. But Elias knew better. This was her message. He replayed old mission logs, searching through Lyra's last transmissions. In one of them, she had talked about the resonance field theory, a concept that consciousness could imprint itself into energy waves. The theory had been dismissed by most scientists, but Lyra had believed it could allow humans to communicate beyond time and space. Maybe she had proved it. Elias ordered the Artemis to follow the path of the light formations. Each burst of energy led them deeper into the star field. The crew worked in silence, guided only by the ghostly glow of the constellations around them. After several hours, they arrived near a cluster of stars forming another pattern. Not letters this time, but a spiral expanding outward. Inside it, the sensors picked up an energy pocket unlike anything recorded before. Athena, Elias said. Analyze that field. Energy composition unstable, the AI replied, fluctuating between quantum and photonic states. It's alive, Tessa looked uneasy. Alive? What do you mean? The field reacts to our scans, Athena said. As if it's aware of us. Elias's heart pounded. He turned to Tessa. Lyra once said consciousness could exist as energy. Maybe she... He stopped when the signal spiked again, flooding the bridge with light. The star field outside shimmered, and for a moment, they heard something through the static. A faint whisper, like a voice carried by the wind of the universe. It said only one word. Elias. The crew gasped. Tessa looked at him in shock. That sounded like her. Elias's hands tightened on the console. It was her. He felt tears rising, but he forced himself to stay calm. Prepare a probe. I want a full analysis of the energy pocket. As the probe launched, the light intensified. The holographic display flickered, forming Lyra's face for just a second before dissolving back into static. The crew stood frozen in silence. She's reaching out, Elias whispered, through the stars. He looked out into the vast, glowing expanse, each star shining like a letter written in light. She left a message, he said, almost in awe. A trail, Tessa shook her head. Captain, if this is real, it could be dangerous. We don't know what this energy field is doing to the ship. Elias turned toward her, calm but resolute. If there's even a chance that Lyra is out there, alive, conscious, or something beyond, I have to follow it. Tessa hesitated, then slowly nodded. Then we'll follow it together. Outside, the dying blue star released a final burst of light, a brilliant wave that spread across space like a heartbeat. The letters of Lyra's name flared once more before fading into the deep night. Elias watched it disappear, his reflection shimmering in the glass. He whispered softly, Hold on, Lyra, I'm coming. The Artemis's engines roared to life and the ship turned toward the heart of the light field. The stars ahead shimmered as if opening a path just for him. For the first time in years, Elias Rourke smiled. Hope, bright and painful, burned inside him once again. He didn't know what awaited him beyond the light, only that Lyra had left him a promise written across the universe, and he intended to follow it until the end. The Artemis cut through the dark like a silver arrow. The stars outside flickered and pulsed as if they were alive and watching. Captain Elias Rourke stood on the bridge, staring at the map that stretched before him. A field of light, with glowing trails forming paths that seemed too perfect to be natural. Each glowing thread led to another cluster of stars, and then another, like handwriting written across the sky. And at the heart of it all, the signal still pulsed. Every time it flashed, the rhythm felt almost human. Long, short, long, pause, short. It was almost like breathing. Commander Tessa Vorn sat beside him, her face tight with concern. Captain, we've crossed the border of mapped space. There's no record of any star systems beyond this point. Elias didn't look away from the display. Then we'll make one. Sir, she said quietly, you know what I'm going to ask. What if this isn't Lyra? What if it's something trying to imitate her? He finally turned to face her. Tessa, I've heard her voice. I saw her name written in light. Even if it isn't her, something and/or someone wanted me to see it. I can't turn back now. Tessa sighed but nodded. Understood, Captain. Course locked. Hours turned into days. The deeper they went, the stranger space became. Nebulae glowed in impossible colors. Some stars flickered in synchronized rhythms, as though whispering secrets to each other. The crew began to notice strange effects, time delays in their systems, clocks ticking at different speeds, voices echoing faintly in the corridors when no one was there. Lieutenant Harrow, the ship's engineer, reported, "We're picking up quantum distortion waves, Captain. Spacetime's behaving wrong." Elias answered calmly, "Hold course." He could feel it, a pull deep and invisible drawing them forward. Every flicker of light outside seemed to guide him closer. That night, when the bridge dimmed for rest mode, Elias stayed alone again. He looked out at the wide window, his reflection faint against the stars. He spoke softly, "Lyra, if you can hear me, show me something. Anything." And then, it happened. The stars outside shifted. Slowly, carefully, the constellations realigned into shapes, symbols, glowing like ancient runes. The ship's AI, Athena, beeped in surprise. "Captain," she said, "the surrounding stellar bodies have moved." "Pattern detected," Elias frowned. "Translate the pattern." "Working." Athena's voice paused, then softened. "Captain, it appears to be a message. 3 words. Read it." The message appeared on the holographic screen. "Follow the light." Elias's chest tightened. Lyra's old words echoed in his mind. "Light carries memory. If you follow it, you'll find me." He whispered, "Set course toward the origin of that pattern." As the Artemis advanced, space began to hum. The vibration wasn't mechanical. It was natural, almost musical. The ship's sensors translated the sound into data waves, and the result was astonishing. "Athena, what's the reading?" Tessa asked. The AI replied, "We are entering a structured resonance field." "It's like a song made of gravity." "A song?" Harrow asked. "Yes," Athena said. "The frequencies are harmonic and repeating. They are forming mathematical patterns similar to human language." Tessa stared at the captain. "It's a message, a language of light." Elias's heart pounded. "Then let's learn to speak it." For days they recorded the light patterns and converted them into sound. Each flash, pulse, and shimmer corresponded to specific frequencies, notes, syllables, and tones. Lyra had once theorized that advanced life might not use sound or symbols but light and resonance to communicate. And now, Elias realized she had been right every night. He listened to the recordings, trying to hear meaning in the cosmic melody. It was beautiful and haunting, like a song half remembered from a dream. Then one night the melody changed. The tone shifted from random sequences to something that felt emotional, soft at first, then rising like a call. He closed his eyes and heard a faint voice in the harmonics. It whispered, "Elias." His eyes flew open. "Athena, replay that section." The AI obeyed, and again through the harmonic sound waves her voice emerged, faint but clear. "Elias, you found me." The bridge went silent. Tessa's hand shook. That's Lyra." Elias's throat tightened. "Lyra, can you hear me?" The voice continued through static. "I am not whole. The rift took my body but not my mind. I became light." Tessa stared in disbelief. "She's alive." "In the energy field?" Elias shook his head slowly. "Not alive as we know it. But she's there." Her consciousness survived. Lyra's voice faded, replaced by a gentle hum. Athena displayed new coordinates. "Captain," the AI said, "the signal has transmitted a location. A cluster ahead, designated the Veil sector." Elias's eyes filled with determination. "Take us there." The journey to the Veil sector was like sailing into a dream. The stars bent around them in strange curves. Time stretched and folded. Some crew members began to feel as if days passed in minutes, while others swore whole weeks vanished in an instant. But Elias didn't care. Every flicker of light, every pulse of energy reminded him of her. He barely slept, always watching, always waiting for her voice again. Then, one quiet cycle later, they arrived. Before them hung a structure unlike anything human eyes had seen. A vast lattice of crystal and energy, floating in the dark like a web made of light. Each strand hummed softly, carrying faint glows that pulsed in rhythm with the Artemis's systems. Athena scanned it. "Captain, readings are extraordinary. The structure is composed of pure photonic resonance. No solid matter. It appears to be transmitting on thousands of frequencies simultaneously." Harrow whispered, It's alive." Elias stood motionless. The resonance lattice, he said quietly. Lyra mentioned this in her research logs. She believed a consciousness could anchor itself inside a photonic network like this. Tessa looked at him, understanding dawning. Then this could be her. Elias nodded slowly. Or what's left of her. The ship moved closer, the light from the lattice washing over the hull. Suddenly, the Artemis's systems flickered. The lights dimmed, the engines stalled. And the holographic displays came alive with symbols, flowing, changing, forming shapes like handwriting made of stars. Athena's voice shifted, breaking into static. Captain, the system is being accessed. And then from the speakers came her voice again. Clearer now. Elias, it's me. Elias froze. Lyra? Yes, she said. You followed the light? I knew you would. He could hear emotion in her tone. Soft, human, full of warmth. The bridge filled with a faint glow as the lattice outside pulsed brighter, matching her voice. Tessa whispered, Is she speaking through the lattice? Lyra continued, The rift tore me apart, Elias, but the energy field caught my mind. I learned its language. I've been trying to write way to reach you and through the stars. Elias's hands trembled. You succeeded. I saw your name written in light. Lyra's voice softened. Good, I wanted you to know I wasn't gone. I became part of the stars so the universe would remember what we felt. For a moment, no one spoke. Even the hum of the ship seemed to fade. Then she said, But the lattice is fading. The energy can't hold forever. You must record what you've learned, Elias. Humanity must remember the light's language. Promise me. Elias swallowed hard. I promise. But I'm not leaving you here. Her voice turned sad. You can't save me, Elias. I'm already part of this. But you can carry my message. Teach them that love, memory, and light are one. That we can live forever if we are remembered. The crew watched as the lattice's light dimmed slightly. Tessa whispered, Captain, the structure's energy is collapsing. Elias clenched his fists. Lyra, if I can't bring you back, then I'll make sure no one forgets you. I'll write your story in every star chart. You'll live as long as the universe shines. Lyra's voice was fading now, soft as a sigh. Then you already understand, my love. That's what I wanted, and for the stars to remember us, and then silence. The lattice stopped pulsing. Tessa lowered her head. She's gone, but Elias shook his head. No, look. Outside the window, the lattice began to glow once more, faint lines of light forming words across the black. The letters stretched across the void. Clear and bright. Remember us. The Artemis floated in silence, its crew awed and shaken. Elias stood tall, staring at the shining words fading into the distance. He whispered, I'll remember, Lyra. I swear it. The ship's engines reignited, ready to head home. But before they left, Elias gave one final order. Record the entire pattern of light. Map every frequency. This is humanity's greatest discovery. The proof that love can outlive death. As the Artemis turned away, the stars around them flickered once more. And for just a moment, Elias thought he heard her voice again, whispering through the static of the universe, Follow the light. The Artemis drifted silently among the stars. The glowing lattice that had once pulsed with Lyra's voice was gone now, faded into starlight and memory. Only faint echoes of light remained, floating through space like whispers from another world. Captain Elias Rourke stood on the observation deck. His reflection stared back at him in the window, tired eyes, streaks of gray in his hair, and a sadness that ran deeper than any black hole. But beneath it there was also peace. He had seen her again, heard her voice, felt her presence in the light. And though she was gone, he knew she was part of something greater now. The ship's AI, Athena, spoke softly. Captain, we've completed the last scans of the resonance lattice's remains. The data matches Dr. Lyra Vance's neural patterns with 98% accuracy. Elias smiled faintly. Then it's real. She really became one with the stars. Yes, Captain. In a way, and she still exists. Everywhere light travels. Tessa entered the room quietly. We've set course back to conquered space, she said. But the crew, they're different now. Everyone saw what happened. They're calling it the message of the light. Elias looked out at the glowing stars and said softly, Good. They should. She wanted the universe to remember. As the Artemis began its journey home, Elias spent his nights going through the data Lyra had left behind, The recordings of the resonance field, the patterns of light and the harmonic sounds, all of it told a story. He started to see the meaning within the signals. Every burst of light wasn't random. It was organized like letters in a new alphabet. Together they formed symbols, and those symbols built words. It was a language, the language of light. And in that language, hidden among the waves, was a final message. Athena helped decode it letter by letter. When the translation was complete, Elias sat still for a long time, staring at the words that appeared on the screen. We are all light, Elias. Every life, every love, every memory becomes part of the stars. Tell them. The universe remembers us when we remember each other. Elias closed his eyes, tears forming. It was exactly what she would say. Weeks passed. The Artemis reached the edge of the known galaxy, where human beacons once again marked the presence of civilization. They sent their report to the stellar Concord, a message that would shake the foundations of science and philosophy alike. The Concord scientists couldn't explain it. The data was undeniable. A human consciousness had merged with an energy field and survived. It was proof that the human spirit could live beyond death, beyond matter. When asked how it happened, Elias gave the only answer that made sense to him. She believed in love. And love is energy. It never dies. But deep down, Elias felt something calling him again. Every night when he looked at the stars, he felt the same faint rhythm, that gentle pulse of light that had guided him before. It wasn't random. It was as if the stars themselves were breathing. Tessa noticed it too. Captain, are you seeing this? The constellations, they're shifting, just like before. Elias's heart raced. He activated the ship's visual array, projecting the sky onto the main screen. Slowly, carefully, the stars moved, forming new shapes. Lines connected between them until a pattern appeared. It was a symbol, familiar, elegant, and unmistakable, Lyra's signature. Tessa's eyes widened. She's still sending signals? Elias smiled softly. No, not signals. A goodbye. The stars shimmered again, and then the message changed. The signature unfolded into glowing letters stretching across the night. Thank you. The crew fell silent. Even Athena's systems paused, as if the ship itself were paying respect. Elias whispered, You're welcome, Lyra. As the message faded, Elias made a decision. He walked to his private cabin and began recording his final captain's log. This is Captain Elias Rourke of the Artemis. We have confirmed that consciousness can transcend physical form. Dr. Lyra Vance discovered a bridge between thought and energy, between humanity and the stars themselves. We've learned that love, memory, and light are one, and that the universe remembers us if we remember each other. We'll carry her message home and write her name across every star map we make, because she showed us something greater than immortality. She showed us meaning. He stopped the recording and looked out at the stars once more. The endless field of light stretched before him, peaceful and infinite. But then, Athena's voice broke the silence. Captain, there's something new. A faint energy reading ahead. Elias frowned. From where? The source appears to be everywhere, Athena replied. The stars are resonating at the same harmonic frequency as the lattice. The ship's lights dimmed slightly, and a soft golden glow filled the bridge. Elias looked around, confused but calm. Lyra? He whispered, and then faintly, like a whisper carried by light itself, he heard her voice again. Elias. He smiled. You're still here. I told you, her voice said gently. I'm part of everything now. Every photon, every star, every dream. He closed his eyes, feeling warmth spread through him. I kept my promise. The universe knows your name. I know, she said softly, and now it knows yours too. He opened his eyes and gasped. Outside, the stars began to rearrange again. Slowly, carefully, they aligned into glowing letters that spanned the sky from one horizon to another. This time, they didn't spell Lyra. They spelled Elias. Tessa and the rest of the crew stared in awe. The universe itself was writing his name. Lyra's voice continued, filled with love. Now we are both written in the stars. 2 names. 2 hearts. 1 light. Elias felt tears fall down his face, but he smiled. Then we'll never be forgotten. Never, her voice echoed. Because we loved and the universe remembers love. The light slowly faded. but the warmth lingered, a gentle energy that wrapped around the ship like a soft embrace. Years later, long after Elias and the Artemis completed their mission, the story of Lyra and Elias spread across the galaxy. Explorers mapped the star patterns and found something extraordinary, hundreds of constellations forming human words. Across the night sky, each one was a message. Love, memory, humanity, forever. No matter where travelers went and from one system to another, from one world to the next, they would always see the same letters shining faintly among the stars. Historians called it the human constellation. It became a symbol of hope, proof that love could outlive everything, even time itself. Children on distant colonies would look up at the night and whisper stories of Elias and Lyra, the two humans who wrote their love across the universe so it would never be forgotten. Centuries later, in a quiet observatory on a faraway world, a young astronomer discovered a new cluster forming at the edge of the Milky Way. When he connected the dots on his screen, the pattern spelled a phrase in ancient human script. It read, "She was loved." And so the stars remember. He smiled softly, whispering, "And they always will."